Oh my god. bEe movie! Hey audience, welcome to Creeper Invasion. bEe movie!
Oh, just get me psychotic! Hey, no. That would really hurt. No, up the nose, that's a killer. Why is yogurt night so difficult? Oh, just get me psychotic!
I love this movie so much. Hey guys, I'm JT, and my legs are actively being eaten by sharks. So today is the day. It's finally happening. My magnum opus, the bEe movie video. Why am I making this? I don't know. So yeah, the bEe movie is like the best and also worst movie ever made, I think. It's poorly written, chaotic insanity, and I have no idea why it exists. But on the other hand, I adore this movie with every fiber of my being. So today I'm gonna go through whatever the heck this movie even is, and try and decide nothing. I'm just doing this for the memes. For those of you unfortunate enough to not know what the plot of this movie is, I'll explain it to you. Also, like, spoilers, I guess, for bEe movie. So, this movie follows Barry Benson. We're off to a great start with a good old-fashioned bee pun. So Barry Benson is an anthropomorphic bee who falls in love with a human lady and then sues the human race. That also happens to be the greatest sentence in the history of humanity. Also, do you notice how I said bee there? And it's the bEe movie? Well, I hope you did, because that's like 90% of the movie is bee puns. So who is this Barry Benson? He's basically Jerry Seinfeld, but he's a bee, and that's it. That's the whole character. Jerry Seinfeld kind of just only plays himself in everything he's in. I mean, his most famous show is where he plays a character called Seinfeld, so I mean, I'm not surprised that Barry Benson is basically just Jerry Seinfeld bee. So yeah, the movie starts with Barry Benson and his friend, whose name I can't remember, driving to their high school graduation. Also, they drive cars, even though they can fly. Don't question it. Nothing makes sense in this movie. It's pure, it's anarchy. This movie is just anarchy. It's chaos. So anyway, they go to apply for jobs and realize that they're just gonna be doing the same menial task over and over again until they die. So basically just human society, actually. So they like leave the hive and get a job like somewhere else in the world where they can like be more free and not be like the honey slaves.
To the white man!
Oh, no, that's actually not what happens. That's what would happen in a normal movie. Well, this isn't some normal movie like The Social Network or Ratatouille. In this movie, Barry decides to join the military. He joins this elite squad of pollen bees called pollen jocks. What is happening? Also, for some reason, all the pollen jocks are male, even though the female bees get the honey, and the male bees have stingers, even though that they're not. This movie hurts my head. So anyway, Barry goes out in the open, and he gets hit by a big old raindrop. So anyway, Barry goes into this apartment that has its window open. In the apartment, we're introduced to Vanessa. She's clinically insane.
I had to thank you. It's the way I was raised. Oh, that was a little weird.
And then we get one of the strangest and darkest and, like, most psychotic quotes in film history.
You know I'm allergic to them. This thing could kill me.
Well, why does his life have any less value than yours?
Why does his life have any less value than mine? Is that your statement?
This monster just said her boyfriend's life is equivalent to that of a bee whose brain is like this big. What even is this movie? She doesn't even know that he's like anthropomorphic. She just thinks he's a bee. She's surprised when he can talk. Anyway, so now Barry is in love with this human lady.
You like jazz?
Oh my god. He finally said it. He asked her if she likes jazz. Oh my god. Have you been outside that door this whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. Barry asked Vanessa if he likes jazz. Yes! Jazz! Jazz! I like jazz. I am jazz. I am jazz. Look at this jazz. Jazz. Look at this jazz. Look at this jazz. Look at this jazz. This is jazz and this is jazz. 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 Sounds terrible.
It does.
But Barry likes jazz, you guys. Barry likes jazz! Well, Barry might not actually. He's just asking Vanessa.
Are you listen? Listen for the turbulence.
Listen for the
Jazz.
So now the bee and the lady are friends, and the bee is still in love with the lady. What is wrong with this movie? Don't believe me? Don't believe that DreamWorks would go that far? Don't believe that they would make a movie where a bee falls in love with a lady? Watch this scene and tell me I'm wrong.
You coming?
Got everything?
All set.
You go ahead, I'll catch up.
Don't be too long.
I just can't believe the loveliness of love. I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling. I just can't believe.
Watch this.
Ah, sugar. Oh, honey, honey.
That is real. This is in a real movie that DreamWorks made. The company that made How to Train Your Dragon and The Prince of Egypt. So Barry and Vanessa go shopping to, because I don't know, they gotta move the plot along somehow.
You work through it like any emotion. Anger, jealousy, love.
And Barry discovers the awful truth that we sometimes take honey from beehives. Buddy, you know there are like animals that we kill for money, right? Like, you guys have it easy. Then we have just a completely insane action sequence that honestly perfectly sums up why I love this movie so much. I mean, I'm watching a man with a thumbtack have a sword fight with a bee. This is everything I want from a movie and more. This is probably the greatest thing ever. Right up there with the Constitution and Daveed Diggs. Anyway, so after this fight, we have an epic chase scene where Barry Benson gets on a truck. Then he has a conversation with Chris Rock Mosquito. And no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. You can't make me. Okay, fine. Chris Rock Mosquito gets slapped by Oscar from Shark Tale. Get it? Because Will Smith and Chris Rock. Bet you never heard that one before. So Gary P. Dentist travels to a honey farm and learns that bees are being exploited by humans for honey, which he already knew. Finds these evil honey farmers who have the most comically bad villain dialogue in film history. It's beautiful.
Then we throw it in some jars, slap a label on it, and it's pretty much pure profit.
What is this place?
A bee's got a brain the size of a pinhead.
They are pinheads.
Pinhead.
Hey, check out the new smoker.
Oh, sweet. That's the one you want.
The Thomas 3000.
Smoker?
90 puffs a minute, semi-automatic. Twice the nicotine, all the tar. Couple breaths of this, knocks them right out. They make the honey, and we make the money.
Man, I hate those bees. Yeah, you said it, boss. Bees are losers. And doo-doo heads. I agree, smart insult. These small insects suck. But at least bees give us money. Do you get it? Do you get it, children? This is what's happening in the movie. We're the villains, and we steal honey from the bees, who are the good guys. Do you understand? So then Barry decides to sue humanity. I mean, we had it coming, let's be real. Your Honor, I would like to point out that the prosecutor here is a bee who has no legal right to sue in a court of law. Therefore, my clients cannot be held liable for any crimes that they have been accused of by Mr. Benson, who, may I remind you, is a bee with no constitutional rights. Mr. Benson, your response?
I found this gas gun.
Wait, but just because you have that gas gun doesn't actually prove that my clients use it. You've proved no wrongdoing on their part. Guilty. I went to law school for 8 years for this. We also get this scene.
To be forcibly addicted to these smoke machines in man-made wooden slat work camps, living out our lives as honey slaves to the white man!
What is happening? And then we get this scene.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
And this scene. And this scene.
Oh, I'm here! Oh, Lordy, I'm here! Order! The venom! The venom is coursing through my veins!
John Goodman plays the lawyer. That's right, John Goodman. Legendary comedian and the main character in the best Pixar movie is in bEe Movie. And like all the other very talented celebrities they got to be in this movie, is trying way too hard. Besides our Lord and Savior Ken, he's probably my favorite character in the movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, Barry and Vanessa are also very funny, but like, since they're so important, they kind of have to be like actual characters, and so they have to have motivations and stuff, and so there's not as much like pure comedy as a John Goodman. You know, it's a balancing act, I guess. Also, I feel like at this point I need to mention that like there's some like jokes in this movie that are actually good.
Is that same bee? Yes, it is.
I'm helping him sue the human race.
What?
Like it's not all ironic humor. Most of the jokes are intentional. Like it's a very funny movie deliberately. Like it's an enigma. I mean it's at the point where it's like it's so bonkers and hilarious and like blatantly nonsensical that I'd call it a good movie. Like it does what it sets out to do magnificently. Oh yeah, and also, for some reason, you know, this whole movie they've been reminding us, if a bee stings someone, they die. So then Barry's friend, whose name I still don't remember, stings John Goodman, and then he doesn't die. I don't, because why not? So yeah, when Barry Seinfeld's friend is in the hospital, he gets honey pumped into his veins. So What even is honey, then? In this movie, honey is what bees eat, it's what they drink, it's what they swim in, it's what they use as soap, they use it as deodorant, it powers their cars, and now they're saying it's in their bloodstream? So yeah, Barry wins his court case, that somehow. Then he shoots a barrel of a tranquilizer dart, and all the bees stop producing honey. And back up, why is Winnie the Pooh in this movie? What is happening? And yeah, before I go any further, I have to talk about the best character, not only in this movie, but in cinema history. Ken, voiced by Patrick Warburton, who voices Kronk. It's beautiful. Like, unironically though, Ken is one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in a movie. He has just so many great lines. I don't even know what to say about them. I'm just gonna play them.
Boy, you can just start packing up, honey, because I believe you're about to eat it. I gotta tell you, I predicted global warming. I could feel it getting hotter. At first I thought it was just me. What? Stop! Bees! Ah! These are winter boots. My brochure. I'm not scared of them, but, you know, it's an allergic thing.
Hey, why don't you put that on your resume brochure?
It's not funny. My whole face could pop up.
Make it one of your special skills.
You know, knocking someone out is also a special skill. In tennis, you attack at the point of weakness.
But it was my grandmother, Ken. She's 81.
Honey, her backhand's a joke. I'm not gonna take advantage of that. Why is yogurt night so difficult? I was just late. I tried to call, but the battery. That's where I usually sit. Right. Oh! Oh! That's funny, I just can't seem to recall that! Yeah? How do you like the smell of flames? Oh! 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 I've got issues! Well. A royal flush! Oh, poo water! You know what? I don't even like honey! I don't eat it!
And he happens to be the nicest bee I've met in a long time.
Long time? What are you talking about? Are there other bugs in your life? Fine. Talking bees, no yogurt night. My nerves are fried from riding on this emotional roller coaster.
Goodbye, Ken.
Oh, and for your information, I prefer sugar-free, artificial sweeteners made by man.
I'm sorry about all that.
I know it's got an aftertaste. I like it. Oh, that bee is living my life.
Let it go, Kenny.
When will this nightmare end?
Look at that face. It's beautiful. There's also this one scene where he's inexplicably stabbing a giant bowl of ice cream, frozen yogurt, with a spoon. And then he pulls out the spoon, and we realize that he managed to break it while scooping the frozen yogurt. What is happening? So you might be wondering how Ken is even relevant to this story. And he actually is quite relevant. He's Vanessa's boyfriend, and so he's naturally very jealous of Barry stealing his girlfriend, which, like, I get that, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't seem very compatible, but Barry is a bee, so she could just, like, date another human, or just don't date anyone if your two best options are this complete maniac and a bee. But yeah, Ken finally comes into play in the greatest scene in the entire movie. I know people like to talk a lot about you like jazz, you know, and don't get me wrong, it's an iconic line from an iconic movie spoken by an iconic character, but that does not compare to Ken going into the bathroom and trying to murder Barry. It is cinema. At first, he's just like swatting him with a magazine. You're just like, okay, it's gonna be like your typical slapstick, like, kids film fight. And then he pulls out hairspray and a flamethrower. Wait, what? No. And then he puts hairspray and a lighter together and makes a flamethrower. And then he sets the bathroom on fire. Even though he's just trying to kill a bee. At this point, Ken has completely lost it. He's fully insane. I know I was talking about, like, how Vanessa is so crazy because she saw a bee, and just to make sure she wasn't dreaming, she stabbed herself with a fork. But no, Ken is on a different level. He is completely just lost it. He's gone off the deep end. So then he goes to flush Barry down the toilet, and he, like, serves, like, a popsicle stick or something. I forget what it was, and then it's beautiful. And then Vanessa comes in and she breaks up with Ken. And, it's amazing. I'll be the first to admit that this is where the movie starts to go downhill a little bit, because it like starts to try and take its ridiculous premise seriously, which no. Plus, the exclusion of Ken from the rest of the movie is, you know, it is pretty sad, you know? We don't really get to see him much after this, which is disappointing. But, like, on the other hand, I do think that if he overstayed his welcome would have been overstayed. What is...
Huh?
So, honestly, maybe it was a good idea to get him out of the movie at this point. So anyway, let's get back to the main story. So since all the bees stopped working, the planet starts to die. Fight a dime. And yeah, this is where the movie tries to be serious, but like, why? It's bee movie. There's a time and a place for an environmental message, but no, it's bee movie. It's real dumb, but to be fair, it does lead to a ridiculously fun and wacky climax. Basically, there's like this flower show, and there's this one flower boat on this like plane that's taking the flowers to this like convention. So then the bug and the person decide to hijack the plane. What is going on? What is happening?
Wait a minute! I'm an attorney!
Who's an attorney?
I have no idea what is happening, and I love it. This is amazing. Why can't every movie be like this? You hear? I said bee. Why can't every movie be like this? Get it? It's a bee pun? So they get on the plane and prepare to use the live plants to spread pollen around. But that's not how it works. Guys, the entire planet's dead. You spreading pollen on already dead plants isn't gonna do anything. Do they not know that? So yeah, they break into the cockpit and they accidentally knock the two pilots out, which is not good, because that means they're plummeting to the ground. Classic children's movie scenarios. You know that classic scene in Finding Nemo where Marlin and Dory accidentally hijack a nuclear submarine and they're about to nuke Turkey? Me too. I love that scene. It's my favorite part of the movie. So yeah, Barry calls a bunch of bees to help land the plane. It's glorious. Like, they go under the wings, they like fly it like it's a bee. Sure, it breaks the basic laws of physics, but they do give us a pretty good explanation for why this makes sense.
Come on, technically a bee shouldn't be able to fly at all. The wings are too small, their bodies are too big. Hey, hold on a second. Haven't we heard this a million times? The surface area of the wings and the body mass doesn't make sense.
Get this on the air.
You got it.
Stand by.
We're going live.
Water. The way we work may be a mystery to you, because making honey takes a lot of bees, doing a lot of small jobs. But let me tell you something about a small job. If you do it really well, it makes a big difference. More than we realized.
Yep, that's how science works. Sometimes when something is physically impossible, it's actually been possible this whole time because one time, bees were able to fly. Imagine being a passenger on this plane while this crap is going down. Alright, it's gonna be a long flight, so let's just sit back, relax, and...
Some lady and a bee just assaulted the pilot.
What?
Oh, and now the plane's falling from the sky.
What?
Don't worry, the plane's being flown by bees now.
But that breaks the basic laws of physics.
Well, all known laws of aviation show that bees shouldn't be able to fly yet.
But doesn't matter, we're all gonna die!
We just landed. The bees guided us to safety.
Wow. That was unbelievable. Hey! So anyway, all the bees pollinate a bunch of dead flowers, which brings them back to life somehow. I don't even know why I'm questioning this movie at this point. And they all live happily ever after. Except Ken, he's miserable.
When will this nightmare end?
And then, at the end of the movie, they play Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. You know, Here Comes the Sun, an iconic, beautiful song from one of the greatest and most influential bands in the history of music. That plays at the end of bEe Movie. What is happening? What is going on? Somebody help me, I think I'm going insane. I wasn't joking last video. I think I am actually losing my mind. I am turning into Ken. A bee's gonna come and steal my girlfriend. What do you mean I don't have a girlfriend? Shut up! Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, now Barry's helping cows sue humanity too. This movie's freaking weird, y'all.
So that's bEe Movie.
It makes no sense, has terrible writing, shallow characters, below average animation, laughably bad world building, and I love it. It's one of the worst animated movies I've ever seen, but when it's this funny, I couldn't care less. It's nothing like other bad animated movies. It's not like Minions or Cars 2, where they were like trying to make a bad movie because they thought it would be funny. Those were like attempts to make real films. This movie knows that the enjoyment the audience gets is entirely from how stupid the movie is, and it fully embraces that. Which is why bEe Movie might just be the worst and best movie ever made. So I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10? I don't know. I don't know how to rate this enigma of a movie. I gave it a 7 out of 10 on Letterboxd, but the more I think about it, the more that just feels wrong, because this movie is amazing. I love it. So I guess 8 out of 10? Sure, that's my score. This movie is very bad, but I just have so much passion for it. There's only a few other movies where I feel this passionately about it, where I can just disregard anything wrong with it and just love it for what it is. It's like this, Monsters, Inc., Return of the Jedi, Knives Out, and like Cars. And I'm well aware that bEe Movie is not as good as those other movies. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed these weird tangents about this even weirder movie. This was obviously a bit different from my normal reviews, but I thought I would mix it up a bit. It was really fun, so I might make some more videos like this in the future. So yeah, feel free to like and subscribe, or dislike and unsubscribe, and I'll see you guys in the future times. Those just get me psychotic!